Once upon a time, there was a woman living in a very distant country in a town. This woman lived alone, never married, that's why she had no children. But her biggest desire, as always, was to have a children. Especially, she wanted to have a daughter. She longed for this, but of course, she never had a daughter. One day, when a friend told her that there was a fairy she knew and she could make all her wishes come true, the woman immediately went to fairy and asked her, "What should I do to have a girl?" The fairy gave such a seed to the woman and said, "You will take the seed, plant it in a flower pot, you will give it water, keep it in the sun, you will love it. You will see one day you have a baby girl." The woman took the seed in surprise and immediately came home, brought a pot and planted the seed in a pot. What did she do? She watered it, put it on the window you see behind me so that it could see the sun, and day by day she started to wait with such an excitement. This pot first started to give a little leaves. Then, after a while, she saw that it started to grow even more. The woman was very excited. Of course, because she wondered if such a thing would happen. After a while, the seed in the pot turned into a huge flower just like that. It was such a different flower, and the woman was kissing the flower every day, smelling it, talking to it. Yes, the flower blossomed one day, and there was exactly this child of it. Of course, our lady was astonished and could not believe it. This girl is exactly the size of a finger. She was so happy when she saw her and so happy that she thought it was a miracle. By which name did the woman call this girl because she's a finger tall? The woman called her Thumbelina. What did she do with the Thumbelina? She loved her so much because she was so small. The woman immediately found something like a walnut shell, prepared a bed for her, then took leaves, then made things like quilts and pillows for her from the leaves. The woman and the finger girl lived together happily in this way. Anyway, one night something happens to them. An ugly frog passing by one night sees the finger girl. He cannot believe in its beauty and likes her very much and thinks that she is a great girl for my son. If I take this girl away, I can introduce her to my son and then I can marry him off. Thus, he picks up Thumbelina and he kidnaps her. Where? Of course, to a lake. Yes, guys, he brings Thumbelina to the lake. As you can see here, there is a forest, and as you can see, there is a river in it. What do they do in this river normally? There is a flower called water lily in rivers. I'm not sure you heard of it. The flower blossoms spontaneously. It grows right in the middle of the lake or a river. The frog puts our finger girl on this lily leaf. So why does he do that? Because Thumbelina will not be able to leave from here. And after all, she cannot swim. She had never swum in her life. Maybe she had never even seen a lake. Anyway, Thumbelina wakes up and looks around. Where am I? Where is this place? Oh, it's covered with water. Oh, how am I going to get out here? While Thumbelina thinks that way, of course, the frog screams from there. Finger girl, I brought you word from my son. You will marry him. Marry? I'm very young. I don't want to get married yet. No, no, you can get out there. You will do exactly what I say. Thumbelina starts to cry. She cries and cries and cries. And meanwhile, the fish come to help her. What does that mean? Fish come like this from the bottom of the sea and they start to eat. They eat and finish the stalk under the leaf. You know, Thumbelina was on it. Since that leaf broke off its roots, she drifts along the river like this. And Thumbelina looks around. She's glad to survive in the meantime, but she doesn't know where she is. She continues to ride on the leaf. Anyway, she eventually comes up, gets out of there, looks around. She's now in such a different forest. Everywhere is shining brightly. She can find anything, but she starts running. As long as she gets rid of the frog sand, it doesn't matter wherever she goes. Afraid. Thumbelina is now afraid and hungry. She doesn't know what to do. She needs to find a place. Her mother's very anxious about her. And it's now dark. She comes to a town. There's a few houses in the town, but she's afraid to go inside. Because, after all, would you enter the house of people you don't know? You didn't even knock on the door. She doesn't know who to ask for help, so she goes to something like this and sit down and sleeps like this. And what happens next? Of course, what will happen? Our first character of the tale comes up. Who is our first character? Our first character is a wall. Yes, this is a female wall. What does she do? Let me tell you this. Normally, this wall is a very good tempered one, but what is her only weakness? Hunger. She cannot stand being hungry. In other words, she eats a lot. Anyway, guys, the wall comes to our Thumbelina. She sees her and approaches by saying, "Oh, beautiful girl, what are you doing here?" Oh, Thumbelina tells about what happened to her one by one. "You are very hungry and very cold. Come on to my house. I have a house here," she says, and she invites her to her home. Thumbelina goes with her. They eat there, make friends with her, and warm up to each other in the meantime. And the wall says, "Look, you can live here with me if you want, but I have only one request for you. You will also help me. I mean, you can do the housework." Thumbelina also accepts this request, of course, and they both start having a very good time together. Thumbelina is away from the mother, but what happens next? A bad character enters our fairy tale. Mole. Who is this mole? I would like to talk about him a little bit. The mole is very wealthy, has a lot of food. I tell you why food is important in a moment. He has a lot of food. He's bad, he's very ugly, and he lives in tunnels. Moles, dig tunnels and live in the tunnels. And they don't like light at all. By the way, they don't like the flowers and insects. They like to live in the dark. They build their houses by digging and they live there. Of course, they're underground. The mole is next door neighbor of the wall. What does he see while on the road? Of course, he sees Thumbelina and falls in love with her. He looks for ways to find a solution to marry her. One day he comes to the wall's house to meet Thumbelina. He meets her, introduces himself to her. By the way, let's put on our glasses to become a mole. Oh, what do we have left? Let's also put on our hair. The mole turns to Thumbelina and says, "Oh, hello there. What a beautiful girl you are. I like you very much. Oh, I'm very wealthy, very clever. I have very nice eyes. As for the subject of food, there's plenty of food. Yeah, I like you very much. I would like to marry you." Thumbelina answers, "Oh, what are you saying? I don't want such a thing." By the way, the wall is, of course, in shock. So this mole has so many food that he wants to remind the wall of this. "Hey, you don't say anything. If I marry this girl, I will give you a lot of food." The wall unfortunately gives up her idea and favors the mole and tries to persuade Thumbelina to get married. The mole says, "Come on, if you want, I'll show you my house." "No, it's not necessary," says Thumbelina. "Why not? Come on, see my house." Meanwhile, guys, the mole and Thumbelina had some together. They go towards the tunnel to go home, and meanwhile, Thumbelina sees a swallow on the way. There's a swallow lying on the ground. Without saying anything, they entered the house with the mole. Anyway, she sees the house and finds such an excuse. "Oh, I have to go. I have a lot of work." And she leaves. She will return to the wolf's house. And yes, children, Thumbelina leaves from there. The morning has come and there is a distant road. And she stopped by Swallow on her way. The poor Swallow lies like this on the ground, and she looks down. Oh, what's wrong with you? Hey, what happened to you? Oh, oh, tell me what happened to you. Oh, what happened? She asks what happens. Swallow answers her. Oh, we normally have to migrate before winter because before the weather gets cold, we need to go. But I'm late. When the weather got colder, I fell to the ground and my wing broke. I don't know what to do. And Thumbelina answers, oh, don't worry about it. I will help you. Every day I will bring you something and give you food. Anyway, children, one day Thumbelina comes to the swallow again, gives water, and so the days pass. Our swallow begins to heal. When he starts to recover, he will able to fly with other countries, the warmer countries, and says to Thumbelina, hey, Thumbelina, come with me. Oh, I cannot come. I can't leave the wall alone. By the way, of course, she doesn't know what the wall is doing to her. Oh, I can't leave her alone. I promised her I can't go with you, but you go, please. Please. Never forget me, okay? Then this white swallow flies and goes. Poor Thumbelina returns to home. When she comes back, the wall says to her, it's enough. This promise has to be done. You have 2 weeks now. You marry the mole in 2 weeks. Thumbelina answers, what? I don't want to marry him. If you're not getting married, then you get out here. Thumbelina doesn't know what to do, and she agrees to marry. And children, 2 weeks pass so fast that I can't tell you. 2 weeks later, Thumbelina is very upset. The day has come to marry. And if you ask me why, because from now on she will live under the ground and she will not be able to see the sun, see the people, and she will not able to see anything. She will continue to live under the tunnel in such a dark and boring place. Anyway, in a very sad and tearful way, and she says goodbye to Walt because she will not able to see her again. And Thumbelina says, please, if the swallow comes, tell him that I love him very much. Suddenly a voice is heard. Guys, like this, the swallow comes flying by flapping his wings. He comes to Thumbelina and saying, Thumbelina, I see you're in a big trouble. Come on with me. Come, let's get out of here. Thumbelina looks around and left like this. I better get away from here. Yes, I want to go with you. Please take me. Take me. And children, Thumbelina flies with the swallow. Thumbelina gets on the swallow back and flies away. They go to the warmer countries. I'll take you to an amazing place, the land of flowers. Land of flowers? You will see. So they keep flying and finally they arrive at a magnificent place. Everywhere is full of flowers. The swallow saying, which flower shall I leave you to? Flower? Yes, here everyone lives in a flower. So Thumbelina chooses a flower. She chooses this flower. And guys, what happened when she gets into this flower? It turns out that in the land of flowers, 2 people lives inside each flowers as a female fairy and a male fairy. Because this is the land of flowers. The fairies rule this place. There is also a prince in this land of flowers, and he is in the prince of the fairies, but he didn't have a princess. Here is what happened. Luckily, of course, Thumbelina has sat on the same flower where the prince fairy lived. Thumbelina sees the prince. Of course, the prince sees to her. Meanwhile, the prince fairy has wings like this. Prince fairy says to Thumbelina, welcome. Who are you? I don't know you. I think you are new around here. Thumbelina answers, yes, I come here for the first time. Sorry for bothering you. As far as I understand, everyone has their own place. Don't worry, I'm live alone. I'm the prince of this country. Anyway, they talk to each other. The prince falls in love with her. As in every fairy tales, they make friends for a while. And then the prince asks, oh, I want to ask something. I cannot rule this country alone. I need a female fairy, princess, to rule the country. Will you rule this country with me? Would you like to be my princess? You know how many marriage proposals Thumbelina has received so far? Of course, she also likes the prince because she likes this place and she accepts their proposal. So, what do they do next? They start preparing a wedding feast for Thumbelina. All fairies, insects, everyone in the land of flowers are invited here. And everyone bring gifts. What do we mean by the gifts? These can be lots of things. For example, honey, flowers. And what do they for Thumbelina? They crown her. But guess what is the most important gift among these ones? The gift the fly brought, of course. He brings a pair of wings like this so that she can fly. After that, Thumbelina can now fly. She flies and flies. Finally, one of the most important thing happens. They ask her, "Why is your name Thumbelina? Is it because you are the size of finger? We cannot associate you with you, Thumbelina, the finger girl. We decided to give you a better name. From now on, we want to call you Maya." And of course, Thumbelina loves this name very much. And from now on, they start calling her Maya. Maya and the prince of the fairies live here happily together for life. Once upon a time, in a distant land, there was a great sea kingdom under the sea. This sea kingdom was ruled by Triton, and he had 7 daughters. And of course, one of these girls was our little mermaid. The little mermaid was the youngest of her elder sisters. She was only 16 years old and was a very, very beautiful. As I said before, she was the youngest of her sibling and only 16 years old. She has an amazing, beautiful voice. She always gave concerts under the sea in this kingdom. Everyone admired her voice. But the biggest wish of Ariel is growing up like her older sisters, having this kind of crown, and also, of course, going up outside, watching the surroundings, seeing the land, meeting the people, and such like dreams. But since she was not yet 16 years old and she had a different crown, unfortunately, her father wouldn't let her go. But Ariel was very curious about it. What she likes most is going upstairs, and one day she couldn't control herself again. And what did she do? She asked her best friend Founder for help and wanted to go upstairs. Unbeknownst to his father, with the help of a friend Welsh, she swam upwards, swam, and finally got up. When she went up, she climbed the rock, as you can see here, and sat on the rock and started to watch the surroundings. How beautiful this place is. It's my first time on the surface of the sea. It's really beautiful, as my sisters told, and I wish I could see people too. Oh, there's a ship there. There are people on the board, and so she went to meet them on the rock. So what do you think is on this ship? There is a kingdom living there, of course, and there is the king of a son. What is his name? Prince Ariel. And Prince Ariel has reached an age of marriage, and his father organized a party for him on the ship. Princes came from all over the country. Then Prince Ariel, on the other hand, no intention of getting married. By the way, he didn't want anything like that at all. He just said to such events so as not to offend his father. And by the way, what does Prince Ariel like? Prince Ariel liked to play musical instruments. Which instruments? Flute. He's fond of playing flute. And yes, guys, the prince was so bored. Then he went to the edge of the ship and picked up her flute and started playing like that. He played and played. Of course, who did he see when he was playing this flute? He saw our beautiful mermaid. He fell in love with her at the first time, and he fell in love with her voice. Because when the mermaid heard the sound of the flute, he could not help herself and began to sing. La 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 la, la 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 la. As soon as the prince saw the mermaid, he fell in love with her voice and herself. Hey, stop, wait, wait. Meanwhile, Ariel immediately disappeared. Where did she go? She went down the bottom of the sea because she was not supposed to seen by anyone. Anyway, guys, Ariel goes deep into the sea. The prince immediately looks for her, but he can't find her anywhere. Where, watch the prince do? He can stand and go, and meanwhile, guys, something different happens. What happens? The mermaid's father's Triton has a sister. Her name is Ursula, and she herself is a water witch and wicked, and she was expelled from the kingdom before because she was so mean. And since she was kicked out of the kingdom, so what happened? She has living in a different place and wants to take advantage of Ariel to take revenge on Triton. And of course, an idea immediately comes to her mind. Now, it's time to take revenge. If Ariel falls in love with this person, Prince Eric, then everything will be great. She makes such plans like this. So, what does she do? Of course, because she's a water witch, voices are heard, lightning flashes in the sky. It rains, the weather is so wonderful and beautiful, it starts to turn bad. All of a sudden, the ship suddenly starts to sink. Prince Eric's like this, as you can see behind me. He jumps into the sea and starts diving and even deeper while going to the bottom. Ariel can't help herself, immediately goes after the prince. First she sees him, takes his flute, and despite everything she saves Prince Eric's life. And she immediately takes him to the beach. As you can see, there is a royal beach and they come right out, and Ariel approaching the princess. Please, please leave. Please wake up. Wake up. Oh, how handsome he is. Meanwhile, Ariel's heart flutters with excitement. Anyway, the prince can't wake up there, and of course, due to the shock. But what happens then? All of a sudden, the king and the man hear voices and see what's happening. They come to the beach immediately. At that moment, Ariel jumps into water and runs away so that no one can see her. Anyway, Prince Eric wakes up and says, "Where am I? Where is the mermaid? She saved my life." The king and tells him, "Which mermaid? There's no mermaid here." But her voice was great. "No such thing. Did I dream? But she saved me." Meanwhile, they take him away. Maybe something happened, but he doesn't remember, or he may be misremembering. Meanwhile, they take him back to the palace. So while all this going on, what else happens? When Ariel comes home, is her father aware of this, of course, and he's aware. The father calls her right away. He is very angry because it was already forbidden to go out. She should not go upstairs before she turns 20, and second, moreover, she did not listen anymore. And as if that wasn't enough, she met a man. He could hurt him. His father was very angry. "Ariel, my daughter, how dare you behave like this? How many times I told you that you shouldn't have service before you turn 20 without the crown? People are bad, Ariel. I told you, you didn't listen to me. You know that." And they hunt fish, they polluted the seas, throwing garbage or bags. And in short, they harm us and all living things. You cannot make things with them. And you're so too young. How can you not listen to my word? You will never live here again. Ariel is very upset. What will he do now? Poor girl, my dear. She goes to her room to cry, and because her heart is fluttering. So the prince saw people for the first time, fell in love with a prince. Anyway, she thinks for a while, what can I do? What should I do? It's when idea comes to her mind. Who planned all this? As you know, the wicked water witch, Aunt Ursula. Aunt Ursula has special magic and spells. I better go to her. Maybe she will help me. And she already waiting for this. She's waiting for Ariel to come. Anyway, guys, Ariel's on her way. Right away, she goes to Ursula's private water cave. Ursula's cave is such a cave. She comes to Ursula's cave, and of course, she will tell her what she wants. And Ursula says, "Oh, welcome, Ariel, my sweet niece. Welcome, I've been waiting for you." "Oh, do you know why I came?" Of course I know. It's because of Prince Ariel, isn't it? You want to be a human. Oh, yes, I want to be a human too. Then, in order to be a human, you have to fulfill certain things. And if you do what I say, I can make you a person and you can go upstairs and meet Prince Eric and have a great time. What should I do? I'm going to prepare a potion for you now. When you drink this potion, you will become a person and you will have a feat. But the life of this potion is only 3 days. You need to make Prince Eric fall in love with you in 3 days, or you will turn into a mermaid again. All magic will be gone. And in turn, what do I want from you? Your voice. My voice? Yes, your voice. You will gift me your voice, and you will give me your beautiful voice. And of course, Ariel doesn't know what to do, but she wants to be a human and be with Prince Eric very much. And therefore, she accepts Ursula's offer and thus takes the potion and drinks it. And just as the witch said, Ariel's feet, then her tail, then her clothes, and a lot of things start to change. And she now has feet. Where does she go swimming right away? Of course, she goes to the seaside, where the palace is. She was very excited. She tries to walk first. She cannot walk because she had no feet before, and she had never walked before. And anyway, she finds something like a piece of cloth there, and what she did do, puts it on, and runs to the seaside. At that moment, by chance, Prince Eric was watching from the balcony, and what will happen? He seizes Ariel, and oh, it's that girl, the mermaid. He immediately runs. I can't believe you're the mermaid I saw. You're the girl with a wonderful voice. You are that girl, aren't you? Ariel is like this, guys. She can talk. Answer me, the princess. Why can't she talk? Because the water took her voice. She can speak. That's you, isn't it? Meanwhile, Ariel has brought the fillet with her hand and give it to the prince. Eric still can't understand if she's that girl or not. You cannot be that mermaid because she had a great voice. Before I saw her, I was fascinated by her voice. I fell in love with her voice. Ariel gets very upset. She doesn't know what to do and she can tell anything. Come to our palace. You'll live with us for a while. At least you will live with us. It's clear that you're on your own here with no one to help you. You can live with us. Ariel thinks that she can convince him. She will last 3 days in a way, and she goes to the palace. They come to the palace. The palace is very wonderful. As you can see, she tries to spend her days in the palace. She always tries to chat with Prince Eric like this with her hands because she cannot speak. But unfortunately, time passes so quickly. 2 days have passed and one last day remains. Do you know what will happen that day? Prince Eric is getting married. His father will marry him to a princess. Ariel is so upset that I can't tell. She can never tell that she is the girl because she has no voice. Anyway, guys, Ariel is very upset. It's the last day again, and there is a big party on the ship, and everyone attends it. Ariel is upset, goes to the seaside, doesn't know what to do. What happens in the meantime? Guess what? Her father and sisters are aware of the situation and come up suddenly. They come out of the sea like this and come to Ariel, and father says, Ariel, what you did was wrong. All these things you did without my permission, without my knowledge were wrong. But we're talking about love here. This is a heart palpitation. I mean, sometimes people just can't get over their emotions. Yes, you have made a mistake, but I forgive you. Since you want to be a human and be with Prince so much, then you will be. Look, I have brought my scepter with me, and this is the scepter of the seas. By the help of this scepter, I return your voice to you. And in that moment, Ariel's voice immediately comes back. So, what does Ariel do again? With the founder and her friends, she sets off for the ship. She begins to sing from afar. La 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 la. Prince Eric suddenly hears this. This is her voice. That's the voice. That's the mermaid's voice. Oh, and the mermaid looks over there. She immediately jumps into the water and goes next to her towards the waves. Oh, I can't believe you. It's you. Yes, it's me. The mermaid tells him all that happens. She tells what happens to her one by one. And she tells that she's actually a mermaid, that she has turned into a human with magic. And the Father King Triton also gives them the following advice. I love you to be together and get married in the future. I have only one condition. You will protect this world. Both aquatic and terrestrial creatures, both humans and animals, I trust you. I believe that from now on you will be the kind to nature, the environment, and everything. That's why I'm letting you stay with him in this palace. And of course, Ariel was very happy. After a while, the little mermaid, Ariel, and the prince get married. They keep their promise to Ariel's father. They protect all living things, nature, seas, and animals. And here we are at the end of this week's fairy tale. See you next week in a new fairy tale. If you like it, please don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.